Yo, welcome to another edition of American Hood Shyt. I'm your host, RAFIQ. I was actually hoping not to bring this particular conversation up so quickly. I mean, eventually I was going to discuss it, but it was just going to be a matter of time. But lately, the things that have been happening have basically warranted me to bring this conversation up. Now, ever since I was a child, I've been hearing this particular comment said by white people. Why don't you just go back to Africa? Go back to Africa. Well, it seems like lately that has been coming off the lips of various people, from white people. I've even heard some of our own family members. When I say that, I mean the Mexican community. I've even heard some of them say, let's not go back to Africa. Well, I want to address the European first. You all are constantly saying, go back to Africa. To be honest with you, that's where I'm headed. I'm going back to Africa. You ain't got to tell me that shit. But you all do know that if we go back to Africa, then you're in trouble. And I say that because all the inventions that were here, that dome light spinning behind me, the fan, it's our invention. This light that's basically that has the cameras lit up, it's our invention. Oh, wait a minute. That closed circuit camera, the video camera that you all now have around your homes and various places to kind of protect your property, a black woman invented that. I'm going to even go even further. Those pants you got on, those shoes you got on, that belt holding up the pants that you have on was invented by black people. Okay? Your refrigerator is being refrigerated. Things are staying cold in your refrigerator because of a black man. What time is it? All the watches, everything is gone. There's no clocks, there's no watches. Why? Because that was invented by black people as well. You see. You're going to go out there and jump in your car and go do what? There's no rotary engine in that car. Why not? Because when the black people went back to Africa, everything that they created, all of their creations, went back to Africa. And if you really want to know the truth, then I'm going to let you in on the secret. Your literacy rate, your literacy knowledge would disappear as well, because we educated Europe before you all even came this way. We educated you. That's a fact. I mean, go look it up. Europe was in the Dark Ages. There was no lights in Europe. None of the above. We created that. As a matter of fact, the man's name is Lewis Latimer. He's the one who created the light filament that allows this light to shine. I hadn't even talked about the wealth. This country has how much gold and silver? Oh man, come on. So when you all were white people, Mexican people, any other ethnicity, when you all start telling black people to go back to Africa, just keep in mind that if we go back to Africa, all of our inventions, all of our creativity goes with us. All of it. So, what are you saying? And then for those of you all who don't or haven't looked at what's going on in Africa, we're not going to look at the economy and stuff like that because it's different than America's economy. We know that. Okay, that's not the deal. But if you look at what's going on over there in regards to acquiring land that you actually own, you're not renting your land. For those here in America who think, yeah, I'm a homeowner, I own my home. No, you don't. Miss your taxes 2 years. After that first year, you're going to get dinged, but they may put a foreclosure on your property according to where your property is located and who you are. And 9 times out of 10, if you are a person of color, a melanated person, then your tax, they'll probably put a quick tax lien on that property because they've never wanted us to own property. Never, 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 never. Which is a problem. But if you go to Africa and buy the property, it's yours. The land is yours. The home is yours. You don't keep paying taxes to some. You don't rent your home thinking you own it. That's one of the great things about it. I mean, that goes all the way down to these cars we're driving. We don't own this shit. You say, yeah, we do? Really? Don't pay your registration. Registration basically means that you are renting the car, your car, that you saved up and bought and put your name on it and let them give you this high-ass interest rate and all of the above is owned by the state you live in. Yeah, that's right. We are renting our vehicles from the state that we live in. We enter into a contractual agreement by getting driver's license. That puts us into a contractual agreement with the state we live in. And as a result, we have to pay a registration fee for the car that we buy, we own, supposedly. We don't own this shit. They can come take your vehicles in a heartbeat as long as you register them. And then the whole thing of registering and not registering, that's another law too, because technically we're on land living by maritime laws. Please look that shit up. Go to your state, wherever you are, go to your state traffic ordinances, because all these traffic infractions that they write tickets for are ordinances. We're not breaking any laws. So go look at your traffic code and read your traffic code, and it clearly tells you, it will clearly tell you that we're living under maritime laws, and that the so-called license that they try to require us to have, that they've tricked everyone into having, basically is for commercial use only. It's not for your personal use. We don't, unless you're using Uber, Lyft, you're actually using your car as a business, then technically we don't supposed to have no fucking license. We're not getting paid to drive our car, and we're using our car to go from point A to point B. We have a free right, a right by nature, by God, a free right by nature, by the Most High, to travel to and from without being hindered or anything. So all these laws they've put up to regulate our travel is bullshit. But that wasn't what, I really wasn't planning on getting into the laws and stuff like that, my whole thing was this back to Africa. You know, that's really got me kind of, when I was younger, okay, I didn't have, as a child, when I was hearing that, I didn't have the knowledge to fight back. You know, when they would say, go back to Africa, I didn't have the knowledge to fight back and let them know what's over there in Africa, and if we do go back to Africa, what would happen to them. I didn't have that knowledge. But now that I have the knowledge, and when they say that foolish stuff, I laugh and break them off proper and ask them, so do you really want us to go back to Africa? You know, because your cell phone won't work either, because you know all the gold that's in the cell phones have came from that way, came from Africa. Shit wasn't coming over here. They didn't come from America. The beautiful zoos, San Diego Zoo and Houston, we had a wonderful zoo. Well, we have a wonderful zoo. I don't live there anymore, but the zoo is a fantastic zoo. All that shit wouldn't be there. Those animals wouldn't be there. You know, a lot of you all have a problem with the animals being in captivity, which I do too, to a big degree. I really do. But I guess there's a negative and a positive to that as well. But anyway, if we go back to Africa, you people in trouble. You are truly, truly in trouble because you have nothing. If we go back to Africa, and never, ever, ever interact with you all at all, you would have never came over here. You would have never made it to these shores, because prior to Mr. Johnny Come Lately Columbus, we had already been here thousands of years before he had came here, even thought about coming here. And the only reason he was able to navigate his way over here was because of a melanated man. Look that up. Look that up. That's the only reason he was able to navigate this way. The whole astronomy and the mathematics and all of that came from Africa. And Pythagoras and I think his name was Hermetes or Armetes or something of that. Those Greek scholars, including your Socrates and all those people like that, sat before the forefathers' feet of Africa. And they went back to Europe and taught it. Now, I found out that in the 1800s is when actually the racist ideal, and I'm trying to think of this man's name, this bullshit professor from over in Europe who created this bullshit ideal that we were inferior and this and that, and we had, his thing was not only were we inferior, that we had no history, we had no culture, we had no history. And they ran with that narrative that, oh, black people, they don't have a history. Really? Is that why our statues and things like that are still up in Europe? Because overall, Europe did pay homage to us. Is that why our statues are still up there? Wait a minute, is that why Europe is called Europe? Because Europe initially, a lot of you all don't know, Europe was initially named after, you ready for this? A black woman. Look it up. The things that I say in regards to history and certain things, look it up. You hearing it, look it up. Don't believe me. Who am I? Look it up. And once you look it up, then you may hit me and say, you know, RAFIQ, damn, you was right. They know a lot of the history. Well, the elites know our history. Your average John who lived next door don't know. but they have an inclination, but they don't really know. But they, they're inclined to think, hey, you know what? We couldn't have did everything. So they're thinking about it, but they just need to go do some research. So therefore, they would know. I also read an interesting article in the New York Times. It was in regards to this COVID-19. It was basically breaking down where the discovery of one of the strands from the COVID-19 actually originated. And it was like 60,000 years ago. Over 60,000 years, basically 60,000, over 60,000 around that time. But it was that strand of the virus was, you ready for this? What? Man, y'all already know. That strand of the virus was found to be in the Neanderthal. And it went from the Neanderthal. That strand was also found throughout Asia. It was also found in Bangladesh. Bangladesh at the time had the highest. Okay? Now, you know what continent did not have it at all. They found no traces. Zero traces of that strand, of that virus, even though the virus itself or even the strand of the virus in Africa. Why wasn't it over there? There was no strand of that in Africa. And the way the strand ended up in Africa was because of the inbreeding that we did with the Neanderthal. And when that happened back then, over 60,000 years ago, I thought the European only been on the planet for at least, I thought 5,000 years. But from reading this article, it looks like the Neanderthal has been on the planet. Well, that strand was 60,000 years ago. So that kind of get rid of the thought that he's only been here 5,000 years. But however, he hasn't been on the planet that long. This is some real American Hood shit. This is some shit that you don't get to hear normally in the hood, because we're not, it's time to wake up. If we don't wake up, we're in trouble. No. Let me rephrase that. If you don't wake up, you in trouble. There's a problem. And this problem has to be solved. There's too much information out here for us to still think that the European created everything and the European, no. And the more they keep saying, go back to Africa, gets me wondering, wait a minute. We were already here before the Columbus trip. Let's start off right there. But you're not from here. And have you all ever wondered, let's do some wondering here. Here's some things to make you say, When our ancestors reached these shores in 1619, they came from Africa. So why weren't they called African then? Why were they called colored? And then centuries later, they were called Negro. No, I'm sorry, they were called black It went from colored to black to Negro. Because on some of you all's parents' birth certificate, hell, maybe on some of you all's birth certificate, it may say Negro. If you were born in the late 60s, it probably says Negro. Late 60s through the 70s, through the up around the 80s, it says Negro. They just recently changed it. So they just recently changed it to African American. So it's been actually colored. Wait, we've been called colored, Negro, black, African American. They've been called white. Some of our other brothers and sisters have been called by their geographical region: Mexican, Chinese, Indian, Asian. Well, Asian, they've broken down those people too. As a matter of fact, on all the continents, they've basically broken down the people and named them according to their countries. Now we got two group of people here. Let's break this down here. Now we got two group of people who were given the identity of colors, essence of colors. Let me see if I can find something. White. Well, we know what white looks like. Shit. Essence of colors. So we got white at the top of this box, and then we got black. And I've never seen anyone that looked that I've never seen anyone that damn dark or this pale of a color of white. Now I've seen some pretty melaninless people, albinos and so forth, but never white or black. But once again, we've got two people that are essence of colors, okay? And then everyone else is named after their geographical region. Why is that? What the fuck is that about? I'm black, you're white, which are essence of color. You're Mexican. You're from Mexico? Well, yeah. But Mexico is considered in South America, right? Isn't Mexico kind of South America? So why wouldn't you be South American? Why don't you call yourself South American? But they call themselves Honduran, Nicaraguan. I'm from Nicaragua. I'm Nicaraguan. What nationality are you? Nicaraguan. What nationality are you? I'm Chilean. That don't make sense. So you need to ask yourself, why have they changed these identities up and doing all of this? Why have they done that? And why do they not call themselves European Americans? Why have they dropped the European off of their names and just call themselves, I'm an American. Oh, I'm an American. I'm an American. Okay. You say you're an American? Because you was born here. I'm American. We were born here too. A lot of the Latinos were born here too. A lot of the Asians were born here too, but they're not American. But you are, because you was born here. Something's wrong with that picture, people. Anyway, I'm not going to keep you out much longer. I just kind of want to bring that to your attention, to go back to Africa. So brush up on, audience, please check it out. Brush up, and I should have told you all this before we even got started, but hit your like button, man. Hit your subscribe. Like, subscribe, pass the video on. Now back to what I was saying. Guys, look, man. Let's go back to Africa Rift. I mean, my mind is just boggled because as I look around my home and just, well, I know what we invented. So that's kind of why my mind is boggled, because they don't know, and I'm thinking everything I see and look at and various things I know that we invented, I see it disappearing. I see it leaving. And it makes me laugh inside, because they don't know that if we go back to Africa and take all our property back, take everything back, that they're going to be left with nothing. The masses don't know that. The elite knows that. That's why they've put so much, they put different things on us, so therefore to try to prevent us from getting out of here. Prevent our minds from even knowing anything about home. So that's what they've done. They've cluttered our minds with petty things, you know, your work and your this and your that, trying to divert our attention from home. It's not working. Not with me, it's not working. But anyway, those out there, brush up on your African history, but not just African history, but our history in general. Go look up inventors, the great black inventors. There's a Negro almanac at the library that will just blow your mind as far as things that we invented, because there's things right here in our face that we invented. We haven't the slightest idea that we invented. We're not being paid for it. None of our families are reaping any of the benefits off of it. The manufacturers are manufacturing it, you know, by the thousands. A lot of this product that's in our faces that we have, that we own, that we invented. But we don't know that. And if you don't know it, and I can keep from knowing it, then I don't have to ever worry about you. That was my dog. You know, I usually do my interviews, and usually, you know, this joker's not around, but he's, you know, hey man, chill out. Anyway, this segment's over, but like I said, man, go back to Africa. Yeah, we do. We need to go back there. Also, those watching, look up the money rate. Just look up just roughly what $1 million in Africa. Just look at any country. Look up and see how much money would 1 million American dollars be in Ghana, in Malawi, Angola, Tanzania, Zimbabwe. Look up any, just put $1 million, just $1 million. Put that in the currency calculator. Actually, you could actually just, hey Google, how much is $1 million in American money versus the Naira in Nigeria? And when you see that, and then look at the prices of the homes and look at the communities. When you see some of those communities in Africa, y'all gonna be like, what? Those of my people who live in Texas, Houston in particular, Sugar Land, around that area, you'll see homes that, the homes that are in Sugar Land and back there in Pecan Grove and out in the woodlands and Atascocita. Nah. I would say the land, nah. Check it out. Those who live in the Hamptons, those who live in New York and you've driven down to the Hamptons, because not me, we don't live in the Hamptons, only, you know, your Russell Simmons and people like that. But driving down that way, if you've driven, you know, if you've traveled that part of the country, you know, you've gotten to see that part of the country. Nah. They got some houses here that call themselves, you know, on you know, nice spreads. Nah. I mean, nah. The houses in Africa that spread it like these spreads that we see here, first of all, the price. That's the price. Can't beat it. the quality of the product that you're looking at, the quality of the material, America can't touch it. So it's just a lot of stuff that's over there that we deserve to be home. I'm out. You'll have a good day. But once again, subscribe, like, pass the video on. But even more so, go check out what we've invented. Go do some research. Find out what we've invented. It's in your face. So therefore, when these people say, "Oh, you need to go back to Africa," so yeah, you know what we do? And we need to take our lights with us. We need to take all the gold back with us. We need to take our art. We need to take all of our literature. We need to take our governmental structure, because we had the very first governmental structure. But anyway, I'm out of here. Peace. Subscribe, like. Hey, it's your boy. Let's do this.
Yeah, yeah, what it do? Yeah, you know what it is? Yeah, MJ.